NBA Supercoaches, we're talking value picks. We're going to actually build a squad from scratch on the players that I think are going to break out this season in NBA. We're going to go through and give ourselves some rules, but we're going to find some value across the board to show you that you don't need all of those guns in your team to build a good squad this year. Let's get into it. Yes, hello, welcome to Ball Logic, the fantasy basketball podcast. We're talking NBA Supercoach on today's episode. I'm your host, Braino, and it'd mean a lot to me if you went and hit that subscribe button underneath. Give it a thumbs up if you like the content. Go and even hype it up if you really like the content that much. It is a new feature on YouTube. We'd appreciate it if you help us out and get these shows out to more ears and more eyes. For those of you on Spotify or Apple, please hit the follow button. Leave us a 5-star review if you, again, like the content and like what we do this season. We've got 11 days left until the NBA season tips off, I should say. And what better time to come to you today to talk to you about value picks, upside picks, breakouts, flyers, whatever cool fancy name you want to put on it. I'm going to be taking you through, and we're going to be building a squad together from scratch on the players that I think are going to break out this year that are severely underpriced. The players that have a really nice schedule to start the season that I think are underpriced and can do a job for you to kickstart the year. Of course, you're never going to build a whole squad of these guys. You're going to have your guns in there as you naturally would. And of course, I'm not going to avoid or ignore these guys in this show when we build this squad, but I'm going to show you that it is possible that you can go and build yourself a squad that is full of value, full of cash generation, and can do much similar things to these guns that are going to be able to get you some good points. So let's flipping straight on over to the screen here. For those of you watching on YouTube, you'll obviously see a blank team, NBA Supercoach team on your screen. For those of you listening on audio, I'll do my best to narrate it as we go through this show. Now, of course, to be able to get these upside picks, we've only got 154 million. Kind of feels funny to say that, but we have to get those cheapies on the bench if we want to make this work. So we're going to go and fill those out first. Now, of course, on the bench here, a lot of people are going with Dylan Harper. He's touch and go to start the season. Personally, I'm probably not looking at him to get started, which is funny because he's 46% owned. He's going to be great when he does play. It's just touch and go. I need a bit of news on Dylan Harper first before I take that punt. They've also got a fair bit of depth in San Antonio when it comes to the guard position as well. Stephon Castle looks like he's probably going to open the year. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox missing the start of the season means there might be a chance if Harper's fit, he could start for San Antonio. But again, we've seen Wemby in a bit of a point forward kind of look the last couple of games they've played, but that is no De'Aaron Fox, so hard to take anything from that. VJ Edgecombe also looked great in his couple of preseason games for Philadelphia. I reckon there's every chance he probably does start VJ Edgecombe. I'm starting to warm up on him a fair bit. So at the moment, I think there's probably, we're talking, let's get the bench filled. Reed Sheppard for Houston, because obviously he's going to be a guy that will, make cash for you initially. You don't need to play Reed Sheppard. Now, Houston's schedule sucks. They've got a 2-game week in the first week, but I think they've only got 1 4-game week until like week 6 or 7, so it's yuck. I'm avoiding Houston players to start with, but Reed Sheppard is a fantastic bench cash generator, so he is going to be my point guard on the bench. Let's just go with that. Now, we look for our shooting guard on the bench. You've got a couple of options here. VJ Edgecombe could definitely do a job. Con Knipple could also do a really good job there as well. I think they're probably the two most obvious options. Let's just go with the cheaper one just for now, just to see how we can make the rest of this squad. Our center on the bench, we can see here that it looks like Nikola Jokic and Jalen Williams are the two most popular options there, for good reason, of course. Colin Murray-Boyle's also pretty popular there. I'd say a lot of people have him as a power forward on the bench there. He looked good in his first game as well for the Raptors. So, can't argue with that. No Jakob Poeltl, though, for the Raptors in that game. So, maybe a bit of fool's gold there, potentially. But, looked good initially. On the bench, I'm a big fan of Jalen Williams for obvious reason. He is severely underpriced. He should be. Based on last year, it looks like Supercoach have mucked up the numbers here on this one. He comes in at absolute bottom dollar at 3.5 million, and he should be 7.7 million based on the scores that he put up last year. So there's a free 4 million to kick things off. Thank you, Supercoach. Happy days. So I think I'm happy to bank that, and once he reaches that peak, then we can reassess and look at where else the value lies. So that's my centre on the bench. Now let's have a look at small forward options on the bench. Cooper Flagg. We're actually going to start Cooper Flagg. I think it makes complete sense. I can't believe he's only 66% owned. He should be 100% owned. So Cooper Flagg, get him in your team. Don't think twice. He will be a playable option for you, especially with Dallas's really strong schedule to kickstart things. So Cooper Flagg, he is in. Now, Ace Bailey also looked fantastic. Ace Bailey, to be completely honest, looked like a starter. And I know we're kind of over-exaggerating talking about, preseason NBA, and of course, you can't really put too many stocks in the preseason, but it does give us a bit of an idea on, a few of these role players and a few of these starters and the starting lineups in general as to what it might look like. And I think there's a very real chance Ace Bailey could be a starter in this Utah team. So I'm a fan of starting with Ace Bailey. I do like him there. Obviously, we can go pretty cheap. I'm not playing him, though. He's going to be sitting on my bench to start things off, Ace Bailey. And then another man, and a lot of people are starting him, and I would urge them not to, is Matas Buzelis from the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Chicago Bulls, they've got a 2-game week to start things. The schedule isn't exactly that friendly to kick things off. So I'll be avoiding Chicago Bulls players to start. But I think Buzelis, at his value, is tremendous. 10.7 average last year. Down the stretch, scored more than 20 points per game. So we can see there the projection for week 1 just for Supercoach, which I try not to go off too much. They're only projecting him at 10 points per game, which is just insanity. There is zero chance of that happening. I think he is a 20-point per game scorer. I think he could double in price very quickly. So he is a guy that I'm more than happy to have as my power forward or small forward on the bench. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you can find these right value picks in your starting lineup, I think Matas Buzelis could be the perfect bench small forward, power forward to kickstart the season. Of course, there are some other options in Colin Murray-Boyles. You can have Jalen Williams at power forward. You can have someone like an Isaiah Jackson at centre, who I think is also fantastic value to start the year, considering it looks like he's going to be starting in Indiana. So there's a lot of options here. But in terms of just building our squad, those are the 6 guys that I'll be looking at to start my squad on the bench. And what that does then is it frees us up. We've got 125 million to play across, 9 players. So that's on average. How good's your maths? We're looking at, probably 15 mil, maybe 14, 13 mil each for each player. Now let's go through and pick some value picks. That's what we're here for. We've done the bones of the squad, which I always recommend starting with your cheapies first and then working out where the rest of your cash can lie. Now, there will be 1 or 2 exceptions to this squad, but for the sake of today, we're going to have a captaincy option in this team. And no, it's not Nikola Jokic week 1. They're on a 2-game week, Denver. I'm going to be avoiding that. I know he is a keeper. I know he is a set and forget. I completely understand the argument. But for the sake of my squad, I'm going to probably keep some cash left over and have a plan B because Nikola Jokic will be a guy that will definitely need come week 2, 3, 4. It's just about making sure you have a pathway to get in there. So I'll be looking at getting him in week 2. Now, the guy that we're going to use as our captaincy option, no, it is not Giannis Antetokounmpo. I genuinely think that Giannis is a fantastic option this year, but for the sake of this show, we're going to find someone that is a tiny bit cheaper in Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis, definitely captaincy material. He's 21.07 million. You save 2 mil there. Between Giannis and AD, and I think genuinely, AD, yes, I think Giannis outscores him, but I think AD can get pretty close. So let's go with AD. He's great value, and also he's only 5% owned, so we love a little pod over at Ball Logic. So AD will be our captain in week 1. Now let's go and find some other value in the other positions. We've got 2 point guard. We'll start at point guard, probably easier to do. Luka Doncic, we'll make some rules that you can't spend more than 16 mil on a player. So that kind of rules out Luka. He, again, now with LeBron out, I think Luka's a fantastic shout. So definitely someone you need to consider to have in your team to start with. But for the sake of this show, we're looking for value. Cade Cunningham, definitely another good shout, but we're looking for value here. So we'll skip him just for this one. Derek White at 10% owned is about 20% owned too low. For me, Derek White, we saw what he did in the first game. I think he had 12 assists and 14 points or something like that. He's literally the only kind of facilitator on this team now. Jaylen Brown's just an out-and-out scorer. Peyton Pritchard will do a good job there, and he's another great value pick to start the year. But Derek White is what we would consider to be the guy, I think, that has the most benefit from Jason Tatum being out this season. So, I should say the first half or 3/4 of the season. Looks like Jason Tatum's trying to get back here early. Good on him. Derek White, fantastic value shout there. Let's go to our starting shooting guard, and we'll pick a shooting guard just to mix things up a little bit. No, we won't be looking at Anthony Edwards. I think he is a great scorer and a great player and a great highlight reel guy. But when it comes to Supercoach, I'm not really sure where the upside is there. I'll be looking elsewhere. Jaylen Brown, another great option, but again, I feel like Derek White is the biggest beneficiary. So we're going to skip on Jaylen Brown for now. We keep making our way down the list, and you've got two options here that are staring me in the face. It's Devin Booker, who I think is a great shout to start the year. He is what I would consider to be probably 5 to 6 points underpriced at this point in time. 15.5 million is a great price. I think that he's going to be the guy in Phoenix this year. Obviously, no Kevin Durant to share the usage around. They've gone young. They've made trades to, I guess they've traded off a couple of big guys and got back some role players. So for me, if this is Devin Booker's team, he's got the keys to the city if he didn't already have them. So he's a great shout. But for the sake of it, Cleveland Cavaliers have a fantastic schedule. I think Donovan Mitchell at 8% owned and Devin Booker at 9% owned, both good shouts. Donovan Mitchell without Darius Garland has proven over the last 2 seasons he's had a 7 points per game bump whenever Garland hasn't played. We've seen Donovan Mitchell also playing the point guard position, not shooting guard, without Darius Garland in the preseason so far for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I really do like Donovan Mitchell as a starter this season. Let's have a look at our centre. Now, of course, we've got AD there. We could probably swap AD up to centre, and I think I'm going to do that just so that we've got a... when we pick another centre, let's pick a power forward then to chuck in at centre. Now, Jay Huff, obviously, he's been kind of dethroned, I guess, in the preseason as someone who sadly is probably going to be coming off the bench to kickstart the year, which is a bit depressing. There's another guy that I'm really liking at this start of the year, and it's Donovan Clingan. Now, Donovan Clingan is only at 9.8 million. He's only 1% owned. And I think Donovan Clingan could do some damage this year. He's a double-double threat and that doesn't mean much in Supercoach, but he is priced at 15.9. Not a great scorer, but a guy that can get blocks, a guy that can get those stocks, and he can definitely get rebounds too. So I think there's going to be opportunity galore for Donovan Clingan this year. So let's lock Donovan Clingan in as a really nice little value pick there to kickstart the year. Now, obviously, we're going to need a flex. We can probably put AD down in flex, really, if we wanted to. If this wants to cooperate. Let's move to, where are we looking here? Let's go back up and find our second point guard, shall we? Clingan is not a point guard. So if we look at the 24-25 averages and we go down to under 15 million, I think you've got a few options here. Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors have a 3-4-4-4 schedule to start the year. Fantastic option. Devin Booker, like I mentioned, also a fantastic option. Josh Giddey is a guy I'll be looking at when Chicago's schedule opens up. We talked about Donovan Clingan. Let's keep going down the list and see what else we can find here. Fred VanVleet out for the year, sadly. Shaden Sharp could be a good shout. Peyton Pritchard, also not a bad shout. But I think there is one here that stands out, and that is D'Angelo Russell. We've got 3 Dallas Mavericks, but lucky they've got a good schedule to start the year. I think D'Angelo Russell could be a 20 to 25 point scorer. He's a good facilitator, and that's what they're going to use him for in this team. He's got big pieces around him as well. So D'Lo to start the year is a really nice value pick there, and a guy that could probably make you anywhere between 5 to 7 million to start the season. Move over to shooting guard, and we'll continue to make our way down this list. Now, you've got a few options here. You can look at a Devin Booker. How many spots have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots left. So we've got, on average, about 15 million per player to work with. I probably wouldn't mind keeping a little bit of cash in the bank if we're trying to get a Jokic. So we'll keep moving our way down the list and trying to find a bit of value here. Norm Powell, also a pretty good shout. No Tyler Hero to start the year in Miami. I think his usage is going to be pretty high. He could be one of the main options on this team. And he's already shown that in the 2 preseason games he's played. He's had the most shots on the team. Khalil Ware obviously taking a bit of usage there as well. But I think Norm Powell's definitely a good shout. We might come back to him if we can't find anyone else. We'll keep moving our way down the list. If you're fine with having 2 Boston players to start the year, Peyton Pritchard's probably my next best option in this position. I'm pretty happy to take him, even if I wanted to free up cash and go White down to Pritchard. I also don't hate that. Andrew Nembhard's also a decent option. He is very popular, of course, at 28%, but $9 million for a starting point guard. I'm still not 100% convinced on Nembhard. I think that the usage is going to go to Pascal Siakam personally. But when you've got a starting point guard for $9 million, exactly like D'Lo, I think there's opportunity there for him as well. We keep moving our way down the board, and we're starting to get a little bit kind of shallower. Kevin Porter Jr. is a guy that we could probably pop in there, purely because I think that there's, again, that's the starting point guard in Milwaukee. It's been confirmed he's going to get the start, and Cole Anthony off the bench with Ryan Rollins. But yeah, I'd say KPJ I don't hate. Lonzo Ball's sliding very quickly for me. It looks like the minutes just aren't there, and he's going to be off the bench for Cleveland to start the year based on what we've seen in preseason. So if we want to find a little bit more value, we can move our way up. We've already got Donovan Mitchell. Do we want to go super expensive at shooting guard, or do we want to go Peyton Pritchard? I think we're just going to go with Peyton Pritchard. His negatives don't hurt you. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, and I think there's a big bump in assists coming, as well as a steal or two here or there too, and a great three-point shooter. So there's some value there in just $10 million, which opens up the board and opens up the opportunity I think we have to spend a bit of cash in these positions, which primarily I'll be using for big men. Obviously, small forward, power forward, you have to, but in the flex, I'd probably prefer to have a big or a power forward there, one of those big primo scorers. So AD is one of them. We've got plenty of value across the board here. All of these guys are looking like making some nice money. Let's move to small forward and see what other focuses we can have here. If the Pelicans didn't have a 2-game week in week one, I'd be all over Zion like a rash, but no, not for me to start the year. We look at Amen Thompson. Again, Rockets 2-game week to start. That kind of sucks, but there is his twin brother in Asar Thompson, who I am incredibly high on this year. He's one of my guys, so it'd be rude of me not to put him in at only 5% owned, 10 mil. Incredible value there for Asar Thompson, who I think is going to have a breakout year this year in Detroit, in a better Detroit team. Let's move on to power forward. We've got how much money? $38 million. We can go with 2 guns here if we really wanted to, or save flex for a gun, which I kind of like doing, if I'm completely honest. Giannis, honestly, is near a must-have. Just for the sake of this show, I won't put him in, but I think he's a great shout. The other value picks, and where it's pretty shallow here at power forward. There really aren't a ton of fantastic options. So let's have a look at spending up just a little bit more money. If we go and put a gun like a Wemby in at flex, which again I'm pretty keen to do, if I'm completely honest. Big men are going to dominate in this game. Wemby is an absolute alien, borderline must-have, borderline season keeper. There aren't many season keepers. We jump off and off based on the schedule in NBA Supercoach. But I tell you what, Wemby playing that kind of point forward role, it looks like his passing and his playmaking has taken a leap this year, especially what we've seen so far in the preseason. So really like what we have to see there. We've got 16 million, which is the perfect amount to play with here at power forward. So let's have a look and see what kind of value there is across the board here in this position. I won't be playing Kawhi Leonard because there's every chance he sits on back-to-backs. Here's my man. It's Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler. Now, we talked about Steph Curry earlier. I think Jimmy Butler is a fantastic alternative to Steph Curry based on the schedule. It allows us to have Mattis Bazelis on the bench as well, like I spoke about at the start of the show. Jimmy Butler can definitely provide plenty of value. I think he's quite underpriced based on what he can do. He doesn't turn the ball over a ton. He's very efficient from the floor as well, a guy that usually shoots over 500. He's a great free throw shooter, so he's not going to hurt you there either. And he does fill the stat sheet. He's a rebounder. He's a guy that gets out of position assists, secondary ball handler behind Steph Curry. There is a lot to like, and with Golden State going 3-4-4 to start the year, I think he is a guy that you must be considering this year. And when we're talking about him at 3% owned, this is a guy that could honestly reach that 18 to 20 million mark to start the year. So I really like Jimmy Butler to start. If we quickly make our way down the list as alternatives, Denny Avdia as another player, as an option there, as an alternative to Jimmy Butler. I really like Denny Avdia this year. I think he's going to he's probably just going to pick up where he left off last year, if I'm completely honest. I think over in Portland, there is a significant gap when it comes to playmaking, and obviously with Scoot Henderson out to start the year, it's going to all fall on Drew Holiday's shoulders and Shaedon Sharpe, who is definitely not a facilitator. So I think if you can have a guy like Denny Avdia on the floor as a secondary ball handler or a primary ball handler to swing the ball, that's going to be necessary for Portland this year. He is also a very good defender. He gets stocks, shoots a 3-ball. There's a lot to like about Denny. So whilst he is priced at a 21, I think we're looking at a 25-plus scorer this year. So Denny I like. If we can find any other options, Tari Eason looks like he's in a pretty decent role, except the Rockets have a 2-game week to start, so no good there. Lauri Markkanen, I'm just not confident that the Jazz know what they're doing this year. They're in full tank again this year by the looks of things. So Lauri Markkanen could get dealt. anytime between now and the deadline. So, best to probably just at least have a look. If you're looking for a cheaper version of Denny Avdia, Santi Aldama to start the season without Jaren Jackson Jr., without Zach Edey. They're missing a million players. Brandon Clark's also out to start the year. Ja Morant, he's also out to start the year. Memphis are in all sorts. So Santi Aldama, honestly, is a great pick to start the year as well at only 11 million. So you save a couple of mil there with Santi Aldama. But we're going to go with Jimmy Buckets for this one. That gives us 1.7 million in the bank. Of course, you need a pathway to Nikola Jokic, but the beauty of NBA Supercoach is that we get 3 trades per week plus a boost. Honestly, I'm more than happy to boost after week 1 because it's kind of prime cash generation activity in the early parts of the season. So if I needed to get Jokic in week 2, I'm more than happy to boost to make that happen. Guys, that is the end of our little value picks team reveal. These are the guys that if you want to save some cash, if you want some guys with upside, some breakout candidates for this season, or even just a player that's going to make you money and piggyback you to the next guy to get those primos into your team, and you don't want to spend up and go the guns and rookies approach, which personally, I won't be doing guns and rookies. I'll be looking for value across the board. Then these are the guys that I would be targeting to start the NBA 25-26 season. Thank you for watching. To support the show, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, hit the hype button, follow, give us a 5-star review, all those things. If you're listening on audio, hop over to YouTube and just give it a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. And vice versa, if you're watching this one on YouTube, go and give us a review over on Spotify or Apple or wherever it is you get your podcast, because it does help us grow the show. We'd really appreciate it. 11 days to go. I'm sure more than 11 tweaks to my team in the coming weeks. If you want to become a subscriber and you want a bit more content from us as well, you can. The link is in the description below to become a Patreon subscriber. It's less than $10 a month, like less than $2.50 a week. To get full access to us, Patreon Q&As are coming exclusively for our subscribers, as well as our final teams will be released on those pages as well as we get closer to the season. Full WhatsApp chat to access us whenever you want. Plenty of stuff. If you don't want it, we've got plenty more podcasts and things coming your way in the next 11 days. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you for the next one.